Well, good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Taylor Stephenson here with you on the weather desk this morning. There is a lot to talk about, and if this is your first time tuning into the weather desk, welcome. I'm meteorologist Taylor Stephenson, a certified broadcast meteorologist based in Norfolk, Virginia, here for 13 News Now. If you don't know where Norfolk, Virginia is, southeastern Virginia, northeastern North Carolina is the area that we cover. The weather desk is all about the top weather headlines. It does not have to be here in the Mid-Atlantic. It can be anywhere across the country, or sometimes we take it across the world. So we have a lot to get to today. So we're going to have some fun here today for some stories. Some stories are a bit more serious. And this one, the first story we're going to talk about is a bit more serious. So active weather ongoing for parts of the Midwest. Some of them already saw what was almost blizzard-like conditions just a few days ago. And now we're dealing with lake effect snow, plus the remnants and what the damage has left behind of a few tornadoes in the Midwest. So we'll talk about that and hear a survivor's story later on in this show. On the other side of things, you know that you could actually go to the moon, kind of theoretically, but you can put your name on one of the space missions that NASA is sending up here in just a little bit. I'll show you how to do that so you can be a part of history. Plus, we're going to talk about New Year's resolutions. A lot of times this time of year, starting this week, we make goals for ourselves for the new year. We're going to talk about how you can make environmentally friendly New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and 2026 resolutions so that we can also make sure we're protecting our environment in light of that. And of course, last but not least, we are talking about the local forecast for those who may be tuning in to see, okay, how does New Year's Eve shake out, especially because a lot of people are probably off today or taking the day off to get ready for New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. You may have not waken up as early as you're used to. So thank you for tuning in now, and we'll talk more about what to expect for your holiday outlooks. First, we are going to take it to the lake effect snow. There's a storm that has been wreaking havoc in the U.S. and it's shuffling off the East Coast today. We experienced that just yesterday with the rainfall that we had coming through for your Monday afternoon. Remember yesterday morning, it was in the 60s. That was ahead of that front, the rain along the front, and now here in Hampton Roads, we're experiencing a huge cool down. Temperatures this morning feeling more at the teens and 20s as you step out the door. Well, again, that cold front now offshore. It's responsible for recent blizzard, ice storms, and more just active conditions. But now, in some snowed in places or places where travelers have been delayed, it may make for a messy return home, but the hazards remain the same. Amy Kiley, reports.
Winter weather continues today. More snow is piling onto existing drifts in the Great Lakes region. Forecasters say this week's totals could reach 3 feet in some areas. Many Americans across the country also face bitter cold today. That follows days of brutal storms in the northeastern quadrant of the U.S. Meteorologists say blizzard conditions made it hard to see in some Midwestern areas.
I mean, roads up here somewhere. We're just going to kind of winging it.
Officials report hundreds of accidents on affected roadways. Michigan State Police say at least 20 cars and semi-trucks were in this pileup in Detroit. Some New Englanders also are grappling with recent snow and ice up to half an inch thick. Down south, the National Weather Service says parts of West Texas had a winter storm warning last night. Even some travelers outside storm areas say they've been affected.
It got delayed, then it got canceled. Then we got a notification saying that there were no flights going in and out for 2 days. Just so many people here that are traveling, delays with the weather, going up north.
FlightAware reports more than 900 U.S. cancellations and over 9,000 delays yesterday.
I would say get to the airport on time, relax. Things get be patient. Things get complicated at times, and just be prepared for slight delays.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
And so let's talk a little bit more about this lake effect snow. You can see how it is just streaming over parts of southern Canada, into Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and even into New York. Now, a lot of those winter storms we were seeing were caused by that lake effect snow. So how does this even develop? You can see now kind of streaming just in one direction, not over the water, but actually onto the land here. So this is what happens happens when you have lake effect snow. You have your body of warm water, then you have colder land. You have to have a wind, right? The wind goes over that warmer water, creates that cloud cover. Those clouds move over the colder land, and then it starts to produce that snow. And you can see that there. Sometimes it can create whiteout conditions in places if the snow is heavy enough, building back up. Same thing actually happens here, but on a smaller scale in Hampton Roads. We call this bay effect snow. You have northwest winds moving over the Chesapeake Bay. The cooler northwesterly winds blow over the relatively warmer bay waters. That allows for the condensation to occur, creating the cloud cover. And just with the right amount of moisture, then you see those snow squalls or the snow flurries coming down in places like the Eastern Shore, Virginia Beach, and maybe even as far south as Back Bay and the Outer Banks. So same thing happens here, just not on a more smaller scale, but also it's more frequent to happen on those bigger lakes like Lake Erie, Lake Michigan, Lake Superior. So that's what they're dealing with there in the Midwest. But again, this could also happen here in Hampton Roads. Now, turning to New York, where the winds were strong, it caused some serious waves on Lake Erie. Take a look at this video shared by the New York State Department of Transportation showing that chop. We had some very gnarly waves here too just last night. The waves so intense, it pushed water onto the shore and caused some flooding in Hamburg Park. Again, something that we always watch for is winds, and you know that winds can create those really messy conditions, especially for those who may have to work on the waters. We had a gale warning in effect here yesterday, now subsiding to those small craft advisories. Now heading back out to the Midwest, where storms over the weekend not only brought some snow to some areas, but also a tornado. One mother is sharing the moment a tornado hit her home in Decatur, Illinois. Take a listen.
A terrifying sight Sunday afternoon in Long Creek when Tiffany Campani saw a tornado barreling towards her home.
It came from that way, straight towards the house, shook my whole house. I grabbed my daughter and pinned her underneath me and crouched down, and then the roof fell off.
She says her husband was stuck at the store and started screaming for him once she realized the roof was gone.
I thank God that my best friend was with me and her husband, and they helped me through the panic of it all. My neighbors down that way and that way bust through the door as soon as it was over and grabbed the kids, and we all went over to the neighbor's house, and it was I'm very grateful for the whole neighborhood.
A couple of miles away at the corner of Walmsley and Sand Creek, one home's garage and roof completely collapsed. Greg Bandelow lives down the road and came over to make sure nobody was trapped inside.
The deputy sheriff was here, and nobody in the house, so we're kind of glad of that, but they found out they were in Mexico. And you get a call in Mexico that your house got hit by a tornado. That's devastating, I would say.
Bandelow said the family had just moved into the home a few weeks ago. Over at the Campani house, cleanup is in the early stages.
We're getting all of our stuff that we can salvage out of the house, and thankfully we have insurance, so they're here to help us work through the process. I've never been through any of this in my whole life. No fires, no tornadoes, no water, no nothing. This is our first house, so it's very shocking.
Such a sad situation there, as people are, supposed to celebrate the holidays, and now they have to deal with restarting. So hopefully there is some relief there from the Red Cross, or we'll make sure that if we know of any ways to donate, we'll give that back to you. Now let's talk about how these tornadoes form when you're usually thinking, okay, severe weather season runs from March through May, which is true. Most tornadoes, the most active season for tornadoes is between March and May. We also have a secondary severe weather season in fall, but cold fronts themselves can sometimes provide enough lift or upward push to really get some stronger storms going. This particular tornado was what we call a QLCS tornado, which stands for quasi-linear convective system tornado. That's just a big word for a squall line, which is also a big word for a line of storms. So this tornado formed off of a line of storms and usually occurs during the cool season. These tornadoes typically are usually EF2 or weaker. And from what I was seeing, just gathering data from the Lincoln, Illinois Weather Service, a lot of these tornadoes did pan out to be EF2 or weaker. But still, EF2 tornadoes can pack winds of upwards of 100 miles an hour. So we say weaker, but as you see, still caused a lot of damage. And of course, when you talk about squall line tornadoes, they're usually short-lived. And so you're not going to see them being those tornadoes where we see on the ground for miles and miles and miles, but of course still can cause damage. About 20% of all tornadoes are QLCS tornadoes, or quasi-linear convective system tornadoes. The typical setup is when you have those small cells, supercell tornadoes, that are by themselves, not a part of a big line. But again, these can be very dangerous as these cold fronts move through. So always being weather aware during this time. We're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about how you can become a part of space history. Plus, all eyes are on the new year and the forecast, how you can set goals for being better for you and the environment, and what to expect with the forecast as we enter 2026. Stick with us. Welcome back to the Weather Desk. I'm meteorologist Taylor Stephenson. We're going to be heading up to space for this next story before getting into this New Year's Eve and New Year's Day forecast. This story is actually really fun, and I found this out this morning, and I think I'm actually going to participate in this. NASA is preparing to send 4 astronauts out on a mission to the moon in the new Artemis 2, and you can be a part of the story. You can go on NASA's website and submit your name and a PIN code that will be put on an SD card that will fly inside the Artemis 2 mission launches. More than 1 million people have already put their names on the list, and that's actually very few because there are over 300 million people in the United States. The launch is expected to take place in April of next year, which next year is a couple days away. So really, in 4 months, the launch is expected to take place. So that is super exciting. Like I said, I figured this out this morning, so I will probably be the 1,000,001 person to put their name on the list, but something to keep in mind. Now, we are talking about the new year. A lot of people excited to go to these fireworks celebrations, trying to figure out what the forecast is. But before we even do that, we have to start thinking about our environment. As the new year approaches, it's time to start setting goals and intentions for 2026, whether you want to live healthier lives or think about your finances or connect more with those you care about. Our relationship with the Earth is also impacted in those decisions and goals too. When we set our resolutions for the new year, there are always ways for us to think sustainably, both for ourselves and the planet Earth. ABC's chief climate correspondent Ginger Z has more.
As the ball drops and we ring in 2026 around the world, many people are setting goals for the upcoming year. Whether losing weight or saving money's on your list, there are New Year's resolutions that can help us invest in ourselves and the planet.
What's really cool is we get to think about what we get to add to our lives that will make our lives better.
Sustainability goals can look as simple as shopping less to limit consumption, taking public transportation, of course, and eating plant-based meals. If it all sounds daunting, UCLA lecturer Tamar Christensen says to get started, just think about places where you can make a difference.
And they can look at what kind of individual action they can take, what kind of political or governmental action they might be able to take, and then what kinds of corporate action they might be able to take.
Christensen suggests breaking down sustainability goals into smaller, more approachable steps.
You can just say, maybe I'm plant-based before dinner, or maybe I'm plant-based on the weekends, or just on the weekdays. And you can kind of amp up slowly. And I think this is the best way to build a really good habit that's going to stick. And it's going to be exciting and adventurous for you along the way, and not feel like a burden.
Additionally, Christensen says your mindset can help maintain the momentum and stick to your resolutions throughout the year.
I think if we can think about the framing slightly differently, it's going to go a long way. What is our approach here? What do we care about? What are we enjoying about this process? Because if we don't enjoy the process, we won't keep doing it.
For some easy sustainability goals for the new year, Christensen suggests switching your toilet paper for recycled paper, changing your bank account to a local credit union to invest in your community, or making your own peanut butter in a food processor. With this Climate Minute, I'm Ginger Z.
Now, that is one thing that I may have to start doing, is being a little bit more on the plant-based side to help the environment. There's a lot of things you can do, of course, reducing, reusing, recycling. So maybe you take up a hobby where you're reusing stuff in your house so that you don't have to continuously throw it away, especially if those things go to a landfill. Now, speaking of 2026, everybody may be like, okay, we've heard the New Year's resolutions. What's the forecast going to be? We want to be outside. We want to see the fireworks shows. We want to ring in the new year right. Well, if you were paying attention earlier on in the show, I told you that a really powerful cold front rolled through Hampton Roads in northeastern North Carolina just yesterday. Ahead of that front, we had temperatures in the 60s, nearing 70 degrees. Some places in northeastern North Carolina did make it to 70 degrees. But behind that cold front was a push of colder air. And you can see now temperatures are anywhere from 15 to 35 degrees colder than this time yesterday. Now, that was to be expected, right? When you start off the mornings in the upper 50s, lower 60s, and your normal high temperature for late December in Hampton Roads is around 53 degrees, of course, any day once you get beyond that could obviously be cooler, but it's a drastic change because we're seeing temperatures in those lower 20s. So it's sunny and chilly for today, but unfortunately that chill sticks around for a few days. Cool for the holidays for us, and then over the next couple of days, warmth is nowhere to be found. I'm talking about anywhere from now through the weekend. I have better news though. I was looking long range, and I'll show you what the predictions may say heading into the middle of January. Right now, from your Thompson Creek Window Company sky view, you're seeing a lot of sunshine. I'm going to change the camera up real quick here to give you a different view. And here's one from Newport News from City Center. And you can see that the sun is not obstructed by any type of cloud cover at the moment. Now, don't let the sun fool you. It's a very cold day for us here at Hampton Roads in northeastern North Carolina. Temperature is right now in the lower to middle 30s, but it feels more like the lower to middle 20s. And that's because we have a northwest wind continuing to pull in that cool air. You add on the cold air plus the winds that gives you the wind chill. And that's why temperatures are feeling about 10 degrees lower than they actually are. Right now, satellite and radar for us is extremely quiet. And that's really the case for the majority of the Commonwealth. Heading down into North Carolina. We are seeing some snow in West Virginia, parts of eastern Kentucky, even a little bit of snow just to the west of Roanoke. But I want to show you the bigger picture. Here's that cold front that I talked about earlier that's now dissipating. You can see it just falling apart just around Bermuda. That brought us heavy rain last night, brief but heavy rain last night. It also, again, spawned and sparked those tornadoes back into Illinois. Of course, still thinking about those people and wishing for a very speedy recovery efforts there in the Midwest. But this powerful cold front now out of our way here in the United States, but in its wake, it is much cooler. I want to show you some regional temperatures here in the United States to show you that a lot of the area today across the lower 48 is experiencing these really cold temperatures. So here in Virginia, we're seeing temperatures in the lower 30s. I guess we should be grateful because it's much colder as you head out west. Places near the Appalachian Mountains starting off in the teens this morning and then heading into parts of western North Carolina also in the teens and 20s. You zoom out and you can see the blue covers the entire map of the United States, anywhere from Maine through Chicago. These are actual air temperatures, not how it feels like, the actual temperatures. 10 degrees this morning in Chicago, 17 in St. Louis, 18 in Omaha, 16 in Wichita. I know my friends in Dallas are probably struggling, and my friends in Atlanta. Upper 20s to below freezing there between Dallas and Atlanta. Cold, cold stuff for my friends there in the deep south. So this cold front has impacted not only us here in Hampton Roads in northeastern North Carolina, but a majority of the lower 48. So let's talk about what to expect here in Hampton Roads as we continue through the next few days. You're going to be looking through Tuesday on this Futurecast. Temperatures slowly climbing to the middle to upper 30s by around noon today. Then during the afternoon, we're going to struggle to make it into the upper 30s and lower 40s. We'll have northwest winds today that will start to subside by the afternoon and evening, but this morning a bit breezy. That's why we do have that wind chill. But even as we continue through the night tonight, temperatures continue to fall off. Good news is skies remain clear. By 7 p.m., we're back near freezing area wide underneath a lot of starry skies. Tonight, wind chills will start to back off into the upper 20s. After we started in the upper 20s, by the time we get into the heart of the day, that sunshine we have really won't help much. Feels like temperatures across the area will be in those lower 30s, right near freezing. So a very, very cold start for us here. I want to show you what to expect for your marine forecast as you're out and about for today, especially for those who have to be on the water for their jobs. I know we have oystermen, we have the longshoremen. We have to make sure that they get their forecast as well too. Now, because we had the choppier waters yesterday, we still have a chop today, especially as the breezy conditions continue through the morning. But again, they'll back off during the afternoon. In the Chesapeake Bay and the Atlantic, we do have small craft advisories in place until the evening time. West winds 20 to 25 knots this morning, backing off to 15 to 20 this afternoon, gusts up to 30. Waves in the bay 4 to 5 feet with the occasional 6-foot chop. In the Atlantic Ocean, I'm tracking some west to northwest winds, 20 to 25 knots this morning, gusts up to 30 by the afternoon, down to 15 to 20 knots. This morning, seas could be as high as about 9 feet. During the afternoon, though, it'll start to back off to about 3 to 4 feet with the occasional 5 to 6 foot sea. Low tide today is before lunchtime at 11:25 a.m. High tide this afternoon and evening is just after the 5 o'clock hour. So a very choppy water that we had last night is not going to really continue too much longer. Those gale warnings we had in effect for our local waters are now over. Okay, let's get into the fun forecast, okay, because I know everybody wants to know what's happening with New Year's Eve, and the cold air that we have in place now will linger into tomorrow. Highs tomorrow, a touch warmer. We're going to be back in the middle 40s. It won't be as breezy, so it will feel like the middle 40s, but it's still about 10 degrees below normal for this time of year. Tomorrow night, between about 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. So New Year's Eve night into New Year's Day morning, temperatures will be in the upper 30s under partly cloudy skies. Not a bad forecast when it comes to the actual sky conditions. I'd rather us be dry and cold than rainy and warmer, just because at least we can still have fireworks across those activities that are there for celebrations here at Hampton Roads in northeastern North Carolina. You're just going to want to have to bundle up because upper 30s is very chilly to be standing outdoors. Make sure to have the proper attire. Now, looking ahead to our 8 to 14 day outlook, look how most of the lower 48 should be above normal for anywhere between January 7th through January 13th, especially as you head out west. Here in Hampton Roads, we may be right near normal or slightly above. So while in the immediate future, warmth is nowhere to be found, at least as we get into the middle of the month, we may have a better chance of seeing some warmer conditions. So otherwise, here's what to expect for the rest of your week heading into 2026. 40s all the way around. That's why I'm saying warmth is nowhere to be found here in Hampton Roads. Temperatures today in the lower 40s. We get into tomorrow, middle 40s. Middle 40s continue through your Thursday. And then by Friday, we're getting closer and closer to that 50-degree mark. Let's take this graphic full so we can see the full picture. As you get into your Saturday and Sunday, scattered showers start to pick up, and that's along our next cold front. If you think it can't get colder than this, and it will, you're going to see temperatures dipping back down to the lower 40s on Sunday behind that front as skies clear. Then on Monday, this may be our first opportunity to see near normal temperatures after a easily 5 to 6 day stretch of below normal temperatures. But remember, this is 7 days out, so this could always change for us here as we get closer to Monday. So stay close to the forecast. Also on Monday, I'm watching for the chance for maybe some isolated showers, maybe a little bit of a mix if the temperatures in the morning stay cool enough, but all of that to be determined as we get closer to early next week. But a very cold end of 2025 and a cold start of 2026. Don't forget, you can get the latest forecast plus breaking news and traffic reports sent straight to your phone using the 13 News Now mobile app. Scan the QR code on your screen to download it for free, and you can watch anytime. Thank you so much for joining me here on the Weather Desk for December the 30th. 1 and really kind of a half days until we get to 2026. Meteorologist Hunter Force will be back here tomorrow to walk you through your top weather headlines here on 13 News Now Plus. Since I won't see you, I'm wishing you all a happy new year, many blessings and much prosperity as we get into the new year. And of course, I'm going to always be hoping for some warmer weather. For now, I'm meteorologist Taylor Stephenson. Have a great Tuesday.